Yeah, there was one moment, and like I tend to always find something positive out of it. And I believe in the big man upstairs, and I feel like if he has a plan, it is what it is. He makes sure like things happen for a reason. But what I'm saying is just be arrogant as well. Don't let other people like put you down or tell you what you need to do.
In this day and age where social media is seen as a place for success, do you really wonder, or does it really occur to you, those people who handle their social media accounts, have they always been successful? But here we are today trying to sort of dig a bit deep, and we have a guest on board who'd sort of tell us his story, and his story is not from a place of complete success. He had his downfalls. Living to our GEPic Journey Season 2, that time I totally flopped. We've got Amantha Perera, famous TikToker, I'd say.
I don't think so.
Yet.
Yeah.
But you're getting there.
Getting there.
On the show to tell us his story. Stay tuned. You may be inspired, and if you do want to stay tuned and make sure you get more of this content, subscribe today. Amantha Perera, welcome.
Hi, boy. How's it going?
You made it work.
Yeah, of course.
Good. Tell us about you. Who are you?
Who am I?
Okay, a bit about you from what I gathered. High IQ student. I'm pretty sure that's going to puzzle a lot of people there. You skipped 2 years of your school life.
Yep.
Not skipped, but you jumped grades. Completed A-levels at 17 and started working. And you're only 22 now.
Yep.
And you're no longer working.
No longer.
Which is a story for itself, which I'll let you narrate.
Yep.
You're someone that's sort of working towards being a TikTok, professionally being a TikTok person or, advisor. What is it all about? Tell us who you are.
I think, lovely intro by the way. I think to sum things up, I would just call myself like a driven individual who has like massive goals, but also an even bigger mouth. Right? I think
bigger mouth.
Yeah, that's who I am. And I did skip 2 grades in school. I would say it was a little bit of a pandita decision, but I made it work. I actually did maths, chemistry, and physics, and I wanted to be an engineer. Like really.
And you got a scholarship, I'm told.
Yep. Not a full scholarship, but GEPic percentage. But at the time, my parents really couldn't afford the accommodation to send me abroad. So obviously, I was whining a little bit. I was crying and all that shit. But then I decided to work. My first job was at Vijay Newspapers, and I think that is where I started everything. The whole creativity aspect of things. It all began at Vijay Newspapers, because when you handle like pages like Daily Mirror, Lanka Deepa, Hi Magazine,
you have to be creative.
Exactly.
And in the current day and age where AI does everything for you, you still need to have a bit of
because back in the day, like there was no ChatGPT. You have to read like one boring article and like come up with one catchy headline so that people would read it and be like, okay, now I want to read that boring article. And on top of that, like my boss Rishini Ratna, she like kept pushing me to do like content. She was like, you have the face for camera, which is a little bit of a compliment because I'm a good looking bugger. But so I did a
22-year-old. Any single ladies out there?
No, yeah, taken. But did a few episodes, had my own show and all of that. And at the same time, I also did CIM.
Oh, marketing.
That is where I started studying the subject.
Did you complete?
No, I did stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, but I did a lot of that and I put it to practice. See, that's the difference. I didn't just study and just like let it go.
For you, education was about practical
yes.
Okay.
Because when it comes to marketing, like you would understand, if you want to bring it to the real world, you have to unlearn everything you learned in the textbook. It doesn't work in this day and age. Because where was TikTok? Where was meta ads in the textbooks we had learned from Philip Kotler back in the day? Right? So I just started practicing.
But you had the base.
Yep. That is literally it. So I started working at Loops, which is a digital marketing agency, and then I learned like meta ads and SEO side of things. And then I worked for another corporate, and that is where I learned B2B marketing, because that is like difficult, and this different in terms of normal B2C marketing, right? And I've worked for about 4 to 5 years, and then I stopped because I don't think I can handle it, right? I'm more of a...
You stopped because you can't handle it, or you stopped because...
There were so many restrictions, and I'm someone who always likes to be their own boss, and this has been a problem of mine ever since I was a kid because I'm like always dealt a bad hand. I don't know why.
Are you like the only child in the family?
No, I have a sister. She's married.
Ah.
She has like a little.
There's two in the family.
Yes.
Because we had this joke on the show that the middle child always feels like they've been dealt the wrong hand.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Oh, damn. But no, I was the youngest. Like they call me Ranputa in the family, so like I'm spoiled and shit. That's a different story. But I was just always dealt with a bad hand. Like it started with cricket in school. Like you would do really well, bro. Like under 15 වගේ මම හැම match 50 and then when you come for the tournament, water boy. Why? Because like, you know, other kids' moms come and like flirt with the coach a little, touch his bat a little. Next thing you know, Puta captain. Right? So I've always been dealt a bad hand. And even when it comes to work, I would perform really well and they would just be like, you're really young. We can't give you that responsibility. And it really like broke my heart. So I was just like, you know, it's time for me to do something on my own. And I picked up my phone, started just recording content for the fun of it. And now just utilize that attention.
And that's where you are today.
Yeah.
So tell us, I mean, within that story that you shared, you've been dealt with a bad hand, but that's just been how it was. But there was a moment in your life where you felt like, look, this is the moment I really hit ground zero. I had like, look, it gave you that revelation, look, I have to now. I mean, it's not like all of a sudden it happened. There has to be an incident. But I'm sure at that point, even though you picked up the phone and you did what you did, you had a moment of, you know, it was difficult. You had something that was going on. And that's what, you know, we're keen to bring out by having you on the show. Yeah. What was it?
Yeah, there was one moment and like I tend to always find something positive out of it and it's a little bit of a famous joke online and in my stand-up comedy shows because I just like to laugh at things, right? Even though it took a huge toll on me. But, you know, when you first start working, your salaries are like 50,000, 60,000 and you're still happy with it, right? And then I got offered a very good position at a very good job. And they were like, what's your expected salary? I was like, 90,000 is okay. No, we'll give you 160. So I was like, jackpot. I was really happy. My mom was happy. Tati's happy. They're throwing parties. Tati's drinking more than me. I mean, I got the job. So all of that, right? And I went to work and I was still like extremely happy and all that. But also on the...
It's a place that you loved working to.
Yep. It was kind of like a dream job. And on the side, I would also like record some videos of TikTok and all because I just love making people laugh. That is just my thing. I love making people laugh and all that. And for one
would you say, I'm going to hold it there, would you say that's your passion? It's to bring out laughter. That's why you like stand-up comedies and that's why your TikTok is all about laughter, jokes.
Yeah. I just like...
That's your personality.
My personality is a very... I think these Gen Z buggers will call it nonchalant because I just...
What do they call it?
I'm just a chill guy. Because I feel like this day and age, everyone is so uptight and serious about things. You know, I just need to lay back. It's everyone's first time living, man. Just have a good time. So I started this because of COVID and everyone was at home just to make people laugh. So I just like making people laugh in general and entertaining them. And where was I?
Yeah. You were speaking about this dream job and you were offered and your dad was drinking more than you were drinking because you got a good job. You know, you were going on.
It was I was extremely happy. Like even my girlfriend at the time, I was telling her, we were ecstatic. It was amazing. And I would enjoy going to work as well and all of that. But also on the side, like I mentioned, I did my TikTok videos and I love making people laugh. And I'm known for being a little too raw online. Like I just say what needs to be said, like unfiltered. And a certain joke I made online was taken up by this organization and I was told to, you know, pack my bags. That's what the people like behind the screen do not know. Like they just think this bug is cracking jokes and all that, but nah. Like because of making people laugh, I lost my dream job as well, right? And it was tough because like for about a good week, I had to fake it to my parents that I was still working. So I would like still wake up and go to work, but just not work. I would just go somewhere and smoke a cigarette and come back. You know? So it was really tough.
During that period of you doing, you know, waking up, going to office in the eyes of your parents that week, how did you go? Like, what was it all about? Like, what was your thought process?
I don't know, man. I was like in a very, very, very... I don't know, I wouldn't say like suicidal or anything, but I was just like, I have disappointed everyone, you know.
Especially being a person who loves to bring joy
Yeah.
in others, put a smile, it would have been tough.
Yeah.
Okay. So for a week. you
Yeah,
went,
yeah. And then I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I just told my parents, but surprisingly, and they actually took it okay, and they really consoled me and all that. And I went for another job, and then that's when I just drew a line, and I was like, no more 9 to 5. I made sure I learned everything that needs to be done, because in my field I need to learn and like master specific skills, and I've done that in each organization I worked for. So now I can finally like stop. But when I lost my job, yeah, that was nasty. I think I started developing like addictions to certain things, and I was like drinking a lot, and yeah.
So on and so forth.
Yeah.
So that probably be like the moment you felt like you lost it. I mean, looking at your story from a high IQ kid,
Yeah.
jumping couple of grades, getting a scholarship to Australia, in terms of the uni scholar,
Yeah.
but because of other matters you
Yeah.
couldn't, and that would have been a difficult time. But it still didn't bother you because not as much as what happened.
Yeah.
Because you felt like you were doing social justice. You were sort
Yeah,
of you were being using your profile.
And it sucked even more because like my bosses would just be like, we don't want to fire you because like you've been doing so good at work. And what's even worse is like the day I got fired, I get like, we have this group on Teams with like the global teams and all of that, and one person just tagged me and said, great job on this marketing campaign the day I got fired. So I was like, shit, just because of my mouth for a dumb joke I made, I'm losing everything. Yeah.
Have you been careful since then with your joke?
No. I was just like, I went towards a different route. I was just like, sorry for swearing, but fuck it. I'm going to do what I really want to do, regardless.
Why did you take that route? Because I'm pretty sure there is a story behind it. What drove you to be like, look, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
This pulled me down, but I'm going to do what I'm going to do because I'm not harming. What was your thought process?
No, one thing is, bro, that I believe in the big man upstairs. And I feel like if he has a plan, it is what it is. He makes sure like things happen for a reason. And I took it in a way where, okay, cool, I lost it for a reason. Maybe I'm meant to like actually
do something better.
Exactly.
Which we'll hear in a bit. So you that's and that's so interesting, and that's why we actually started this podcast, and we wanted to sort of bring this story out because a lot of people would see you and be like, hey, this guy, TikTok, they don't know your story, but they also need to know that you've gone through that process of, at one point you hit ground zero. I mean that you said you were crying.
Yeah.
You mentioned you were crying because you couldn't go to Australia, but I'm sure it hit you. I mean, the fact that you had to pretend to go to work for a week hit you. So, it brought you down.
Yeah.
But you said, no, this is who I am. This is my personality. And you didn't let that change.
No.
Interesting. So you started working again. But you started working, saying 9 to 5, I'm just going to work.
Yeah.
To get what I need to get because I'm just too young and I have to fend for myself.
The sole purpose of me working again was to master one other skill. And I just
you had a vision, you had a plan for yourself.
Oh yeah.
So when you hit ground zero and when you started working, you're like, look, I want to be here.
Yep.
Let me now work towards
Exactly.
it.
The thing is, people think like, I like crack jokes and all that online, but I'm very calculated as well. Like there's a notebook at home, I write everything. Like the next 5 years, next 10 years, I write everything down. So I knew what I had to do, and I did it. I mastered that specific skill. So because if you're gonna do something of your own, you have to like go through that whole journey of starting from scratch. Basically the intern, the marketing executive line, and all of that for you to be able to go.
And marketing was your thing, marketing.
Yeah.
It's interesting from wanting to be an engineer.
Yeah.
Studying maths, chemistry,
Physics
to marketing.
I had no other option. That's why. I literally had no other option. Aki was just like, you know what, don't stay at home. There's something called CIM, just go. And I did it for fun. And there was a lecturer called Louis Dias.
Famous.
Very famous. And he was just like, Puta, you're this weird thing. Like, I don't know what it is, but you have that thing. I was like, then let me just go.
You had that bit of inspiration and all that stuff.
No, because I love controlling people. That sounds very wrong. But what I mean is like, through laughter, through my jokes, I can control you. Like I can make you laugh. If I really want, I can piss you off as well. And that's also sort
Let's
of...
try it on the show now. Make me laugh.
No. But as a marketer, isn't that what you
Of
need
course. It's the
Channel-
ability to convince.
channel people's emotions
Yes,
through
yeah.
color or text or tone of voice?
Explains your dress code.
Oh, thank you.
No, but that's interesting. So you did have a plan. It's not like you just thought, okay, you know what, TikTok is a way forward. I'll just do what I see.
Yeah.
I copy someone else, but you studied it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching this wouldn't have known this. Like wouldn't know this until you share this. So like, tell them the story. Like, how did you start studying it? Like what did you do? Like, what was your vision? Let's get to the part of success a little later. Like where you are and what you're doing and all that stuff.
To get there.
Like your process, like you said, marketing is all about emotion. Marketing is about understanding people. You just didn't get that. That's all. Because a lot of people may look at you and be like, oh, this guy just looked at a couple of TikToks and doing it.
No.
There was a process, like you mentioned.
Definitely there's a process. Because now see, right, marketing itself is not just, let's say, running a few ads, or it's not just writing a few copies, like just writing some headlines or some Instagram captions or something. There's a lot that falls into the term marketing, like SEO, and then there's posting itself, there's scheduling, then there's positioning, there's branding, there's targeting, all of that involved, right? And what I did that was different to what most people are doing is they stay in the same avenue. So like one person would join a company and work as, let's say, a copywriter and stay in that and just stick to that. If they're running meta ads, they'll just do that. But what I did was I worked in one company learning everything that needs to be done in meta ads. And then the next company I started learning what SEO was and Google ads. And then another company I learned what B2B marketing was. And all of that.
You practically used what you learned and you applied it.
Yeah. Because just learning it through the textbook is not enough. You need to put it, like you need to practice it with clients and you need to do it.
I think it's what you say is sort of opened my eyes too, because it's in the current day and age, people are more used to following one structure and then sticking to it. Whereas you're like, no, I want to absorb. I want to be an all-rounder. I want to be a floater in the company. I want to learn
because
everything.
Whenever you start something, what I've always say is it's much better to be a one-stop shop for people. If another business owner comes up to me and it's just like, Masha, I just started a business. Can you help me out? I don't want to be like, I'll refer a video production agency here. I'll refer another agency that does ads here. No, I've handled it all. I'll make your brand my baby and I'll handle it.
You're going to get to that point when you say you handle it all. I'm sure there's exciting news that you want to share, which we'll get to that point. So, you learned the entire marketing industry and then you applied yourself specifically on TikTok. But you put it down to the fact that you've been dealt a bad hand, as you said. Like, look, I'm still not going to let that push me down. What do you want to tell the audience out there if they're dealt with a bad hand?
I don't know if I don't know how much faith you have, but I have a lot of faith in the big man upstairs. That's all I have to say. And if something bad happens, it happened for a reason. Because there are better things to do.
And there's something better out there.
There's always something better to do.
But it's also about putting your head down and following through and not letting the negative energy take control of you.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you said you're a positive person.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm also a very, very cocky person.
Sure.
I'm very arrogant. I won't let anything happen. Like if I'm right, I'm right. And I'll make sure I make it better.
But you keep a space open to learn where you have
Definitely, you have to.
That's important to share.
You have to, yes. You have to be open to learning, otherwise you can't. Right? But what I'm saying is just be arrogant as well. Don't let other people put you down and tell you what you need to do. That's it. Because if you have a vision and if you can see yourself doing this and being this person in 2 years' time, don't let anyone else tell you. That's it.
So you have a mentor that you reach out to, or you don't have other?
No, no, just a lot of. The thing is, I'm also like a people person. Like I hang out with people, and I call myself a little bit of a sponge. Put a cup of tea, if you think about it. But whenever I have a drink with someone, my friends are much older than me, so I take whatever wisdom they give. Especially people after they're drunk, they tend to give a lot of good advice.
And it's also good to associate yourself with older people.
Yeah. More successful people, basically.
More successful, yes. Yeah. The right older people, but you get to learn a lot.
Definitely.
And that's something very interesting, because I myself, growing up, that's something I also thought, look, you get to learn from people 2-3 years senior, you maybe not too old. Yeah. Sometimes then they come and say, you're a Pandita fellow and all that
stuff.
That's
true. But if you have a friend who is my best friend, for example, he's a manager at like the age of 30.
Mm.
And the lifestyle he lives is something like that I also want to live. You know? And then you tend to make the right adjustments. And then you see where he's going wrong and make sure you don't do it. So,
True. It's about picking up on the good and the bad and blessing it.
You have to learn everyone, man. Study each person you hang out with. Be a sponge.
I'm pretty sure there's people watching us today who'd be like, hey, you know, I'm at a tight spot at my organization. And listening into your story, they'll be like, hey, there is someone out there. Cool. So that's who you are. That's who Amantha Perera is.
Somewhat, yeah.
That's the raw Amantha Perera that you're saying. Is there anything that you're missing in your story? Anything like, look, this has happened?
No, I think that's it.
Fairly simple.
Yeah, very simple.
Cool.
But I'm not like this. Some people online are just like, I'm That's all I have to say.
You haven't got to where you are by someone funding you or giving it. You worked hard, you worked your way through, you've gone through the struggle.
Yep.
And I'm sure you'll agree with me, you're not where you want to be. You have a vision, you have a goal to go to. And we'd be interested to know more about that goal and where you want to go to. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a moment for you to make me smile and make me angry off camera. And we're going to come back and we're going to learn about that success.
Sounds good, bro.
Sounds good. Cool. I won.
Vanakkam.
That went well. So, Amantha Perera
Yes, sir.
got banned 4 times by TikTok. Don't think people know that, do they?
I think they do because like the people would see like I post content with a different username each time and they're just like, wait, what happened to the previous one? I kept getting banned.
I mean, but you said something interesting pre-podcast. You said the fact that you got banned 4 times is like a case study that you used to tell people what to do.
Yeah.
So there must be a story behind you saying, I use it as a case study to tell people something.
It's like this, right? One thing I always believe in is you can't give people advice if you don't do it yourself. It's just like going to a gym and going to a personal trainer, but the personal trainer is fatter than you. Right? So I always make sure that my personal brand is on a top-notch level and my reach is just off the charts before I give you advice about reach. Right?
And it's very true because there was this story that we heard from our previous podcast, previous season, one of the podcasts, where there was this wealth manager that had come to a guy and been like, hey, give me your money, I'll double it for you.
Yeah.
And then in return, that guy asked, okay, where are you right now? And he was not wealthy enough.
Exactly.
So naturally, you tend to judge someone based on where that person is.
Exactly.
So the way you dress, the way you speak, says a lot, which tells me that's why you grew your beard.
Yeah. And also like I could have like cried about my account getting banned like once, twice, thrice, but then I just took it upon myself to make more fun content and make sure, you know, I get like 15,000, 20,000 followers in a month, shorter span of time.
So it kept getting bigger.
Yeah, thank God this hasn't been banned, so this is all good. So
Still have 14 more days from the day we are shooting this.
Yeah.
13 more days. So let's be careful.
Yes.
But no, all jokes aside, tell us success. Yes. From losing your dream job to pretending to go to work for a week to being like, you know what, I'm just going to be who I am. I'm not going to let this define me. I have a personality, but I'm going to learn, which is something you were very clear about. Obviously, you had your faith. You have this belief like if something goes wrong, it's for a better reason. You had all that backing. I'm sure that helped you. You've always come out of this place here. I've always been dealt with a bad sort of hand or whatever you want to call it. But you made it work, or you're making it work.
Yep.
I think you've got to say you're making it work.
Yep.
I think everybody wants to hear your success story to where it is now. What did you do? Tell us. How did you get to that point? Because we want to hear that.
Like I mentioned, like I just had that plan always, and I made sure I stuck with it. And even like I had those days where I did not want to work in that company, but I still did. The previous organization, and I knew right after that's done, I was like, I'm going to do something. And I had to wait for the right time. Right afterwards, my parents, everyone's just telling me, bro, just go do a job. You doing this TikTok thing is not gonna work. But I had a bigger vision, you know. And then there are people telling me like, I don't know TikTok and all that. But no, I had another vision. Yeah, I did make like a couple of bucks through TikTok, but no, I had a bigger plan. And I stuck to it, and you know, finally.
When did you start? Like 2 years ago?
I actually started like putting in effort and making this sort of my thing only about a year ago. Actually. Yeah.
So till then you were working?
Yeah.
So till about 21 you were working
Yes.
in the corporate field, and then you said, look, I'm just going to move full time. Didn't you feel like you were taking a risk at such a young age?
I had...
Obviously you had age on your side because
Exactly.
you skipped 2 grades, but did you not feel that?
It was very tough. Because one other thing is, I like had retired my dad because that's something I've always wanted to do.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. But then afterwards, you lose your job and you're like, shit, now I have to take care of the family bills and all that. So I still had to make that income somehow, like from a job or something. But I had to do some stuff through.
You had the support from your parents? Not initially, you said?
No. Obviously, parents are supporting once they see the money coming in. But till initially, it wasn't like that. And that also, after I like registered and made it like legitimate, only then they were just like, okay, we see the vision, and now, you know.
Sometimes it's difficult. I think a lot of our audience today following us would be like, I've had this struggle. My parents, the people that I look up to don't really see vision or see my vision. And you're one of those people who had that challenge and be like, no, I'm going to stick with it. And you put in the effort.
Definitely. I've tried everything, you know, even like doing a SWOT or even showing them a presentation. Trust me, I have.
You did a presentation for your parents?
My parents. Trust me, I did that.
Most difficult customers to convince. Honestly. Clients.
And I'm just like telling them, this is what I'm going to do. This is how it's going to work. But no, like Tati is like this whole corporate thing, like 9 to 5. That's what he did all his life.
Yes.
So he's like, only this is going to work. And for you to even start a business, you need like massive capital. And even that we don't have the money to give you. So, you know, it's just you're gonna be failing basically if you don't get a job. And I still, you know, I kept doing what I have to do, knowing I'm gonna hear this, hear that, and then on top of that, like you get into a relationship. That girl's family is just like, you're gonna get married to a bugger who doesn't even have a job.
You still have all that pressure?
No, not anymore. We're good. We're doing okay now. But just think of it like that. You go for like girlfriend's family dinner and all that, and they're just like,
what are you doing?
Yeah.
TikToker.
Exactly. You can't say that. And I had to go through all of that, knowing I have something. Knowing I have something to back in my head.
Did that fuel you, though, the fact that people...
Exactly.
Yes.
So in my head, I'm just like, you don't know what I have, like cooking. I'm going to do so much. You know, but I had to wait for the right time.
So within the journey of wanting to be a successful TikToker, were there roadblocks, were there areas you... Except for the fact that you were banned 4 times.
No.
Things that faltered, no?
I mean, there were a few occasions where like my parents pulled up a scene. It was like, hey, what is this garbage you're saying online, man? And then also, you know, friends and family are also just like, what is this stuff you're saying online? And all of that. I had those little roadblocks.
Rejection.
Yeah, but then, I don't know. I also believe in luck. Or everything just worked all of a sudden. And I took this upon myself, saying for the last 2 months, I was like, I'm going to commercialize everything. I'm going to reduce the Kunu Harappa. I'm going to put a t-shirt on my TikToks. I'm going to say the exact same thing, but say it in a little bit of a decent manner. And through God's grace, I mean, we've been doing okay ever since.
And it all goes down to the fact that your end goal was pure.
Yeah.
Putting a smile in someone's face, and then it's so very important. I mean, people look at a stand-up comedian and be like, oh, it's easy to make someone smile, because I've heard. You know, it's interesting you say this, all the great comedians are high IQ kids.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's a research that was done in the US. So that explains the whole process, because you can't just bring out you can't crack a joke if you're not able to sort of navigate around things and, you know, be on the thing. But your vision was always to put a smile in someone's face.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at some point, a lot of people out there will, hey, I want to listen to Amantha Perera, he makes me smile. He takes that whole negativity that I had, the whole, you know, depression that I'm going through.
There's this one thing that I really need to emphasize on is that whatever you do, if you do it with a good heart, you'll always get it in return. Even if you're working with a client, if you do it with a good heart, your success is my success. If you go in with that motive, you'll get the good in return.
You had that determination.
Yeah.
And you had that dedication. You had discipline?
No, I did not.
Do you have it now?
Now I'm working on it. I really am. That has been like my biggest thing. I remember my first job, right? My boss used to tell me, Rishani, she'll watch this and laugh, okay? She would literally come up to him and be like, you're such a smart boy. You're actually perfect. Your discipline is absolutely useless, because that's it. Because I'm young and I would like to call myself a little bit of an extremist, right? When I go out and party, I take it to another level. Whatever it is, I want to just, I don't know, I think I'm just an extremist in general.
I think a lot of people could relate to it. I think a lot of people watching right now, if you're one of those extremists, put in your name and say tag Amantha and say, hey, I'm one of you. But
you have to know when to pull your socks up.
Yeah, you need your.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had your fair share of crazy nights.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, mistakes and all that
Life
stuff.
is all about balance at the end of the day,
It's all about learning. It's I mean, like you said, you live only once.
Yep.
You make the maximum out of it. And when you do make the maximum out of it, it's about being the better of you tomorrow. And that's what you sort of...
Yeah.
So you had dedication, you have determination, you're working towards discipline.
Yep.
We speak about these famous 3Ds, and that's something that's commonly focused on, where we tell people, be determined, be dedicated, be disciplined. And then in that line of things, tell us about this new venture that you started.
This is exciting. So
by the time this is launched, it would have,
yes.
taken off. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much, man. I've been working as an independent consultant, after I quit my job and all that, right? Even after TikTok blew up a little, I started working as a consultant. In that manner, I just took brands, like for example, Driveline, all those brands, go face hotel, a little bit of marketing, and basically guide them in terms of what you do. And
which is where I'm going to hold you there. All that experience of you working in different fields came into the picture, because you were not just successful, but you gained the necessary understanding.
Yep. So I was doing that for a long time. And then I got one client called Culture by Ari. It's very known clothing brand in Sri Lanka. And I handled their social media for a while, just for 2 months. And we blew it up. So basically, by that I mean each video just doing crazy numbers, like 500,000 views, and just it being, we gained 20,000 more followers in a month, right? It was insane. And the owner of Culture by Ari reached out to me, and he was just like, you know what? We both have something in common. We know what works in Sri Lanka, and we know what can blow up, basically. Let's start a company. And that is what we have opened, and it's called Organic, right? Organic being the name because we do not believe in paid media. I don't want to go up to a client and be like, you need another meta ad budget of $200 per post. No. We do it organically.
And you have the know-how.
Yeah.
But in the current day and age, social media is evolving. Every day things are changing, trends are changing. How do you keep track of all that? You live by it. You do it yourself.
You're a consumer first. You go through TikTok all the time. If it works for you, it's bound to work for another person.
See, your consultation is not only on TikTok, but everything else.
Yeah, everything else. And this is going to be extremely fun. We've invested in my own office space. So now put a pandit there, I can be like, come to my office, host business meetings in my own office. And it's very exciting stuff.
Congratulations.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
And did you ever think you'd be there?
No. That's
when you were told, hey, pack up your bags and go.
No. That's what's crazy. Back in the day, I would take Tati's car and go out, even on dates and all. And then Tati's just petrol gahala. And then even petrol, I'm just because you're scared. You don't know how much money you have left in your account. And now I drive my own vehicle. And I kind of put a full tank in if I go. Those are the changes you get. and it means a lot. So through God's grace, hopefully everything else will also be superb.
Interesting. And again, I go back to the same question. Did you ever think you'd be here?
Yes, but not so.
And if you had that dream job, and if you continued to have it, would you have started this?
No. That's why I said, big man has a plan.
And sometimes that failure, that time that you felt like you flopped, at that point seems like the most difficult moment in your life, is sort of like a blessing in disguise.
It is.
It's sort of like an opportunity. When one door closes, another door opens, sort of a scenario.
Yep.
What do you want to tell our audience there who may be going through the same process or the situation you were in when 2020, 21?
Yeah, this was in 2020.
What do you want to tell
21.
them? 21. What do you want to tell them? From a guy who can joke, let's get a bit serious. Let's say something to the camera. Let's tell them something. Like, what can you give them? From your story, I mean, like I said, I'm sure you have greater, plans for yourself. You have something more you want to do. I'm sure you get there if you keep at it. If you work on, like you said, continuously be determined, disciplined, dedicated. But what do you want to say for someone right there who's watching us, saying, "Hey, I'm here now," or would you rather than put their comments on the comment section on YouTube and like, "Hey, Amantha, I'm here. Can you help me?"
No, I think all I can say is like if me being always dealt a bad hand, and if I can kind of make a okay thing about myself right now, I'm sure you bloody can. That's all.
It's possible.
It is, man. Like
it's a matter of belief, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I really do not have a lot of advice per se, because I feel like I'm not in that position where I can give advice to people also. I don't want people to be like, Amantha, he just got a little successful in giving advice to people. No. But
it's good for you to hear a story, because
use me as a little bit of a
inspiration. Yeah. Because you've inspired me.
Thanks, man. But use me as a little bit of an inspiration.
Because you said something very interesting. Sometimes when people hit rock bottom, they tend to change their personality. They tend to change their beliefs, what they've been brought up with. You didn't change who you were, but you took a moment, a breather to be like, look, what do I want to do next? Where do I go next? And then you reassessed. Yeah. I'm sure that week that you were pretending to go to work was a week of how do I get about with it? Yeah,
it was tough. And then lying as well. Lying isn't easy, man. It's tough. Especially
to your parents.
To your parents. So.
It's tough. Yeah, and I agree. And then, that road to success was a lot of research, prepping you had planned and all this stuff. You just said on the show that you have all your jokes written on a book.
Yeah, no, not jokes, my goals. My goals, I have my visions. I even kind of draw here and there, like this is how I'm going to look in a couple of years. Dressed like this, in this car, all of that. You have Photoshop pictures. It's interesting you say that, because almost all of the speakers that are featured on our podcast and me like, look, I visualized where I wanted to be. I drew. I think that's an important thing our audience need to understand today is it's all about sitting down and visualizing, putting things into perspective on paper and trying to get there. Yeah. That's important. And you put down your success. Yeah. If you can see yourself, being something, just try and make a plan for you to get there. Draw a SWOT. That's like something so important. I would tell the people, always draw a SWOT analysis on yourself. Always. So as a marketer, what else? Tell us what we should be doing. Honestly, that is one of the main things you need to do first. Write down your strengths, your weaknesses, and just find a way to make your strengths opportunities. That is mainly it. Now, let's say, for example, I remember my strengths. I was a funny guy. I'm funny, right? How am I going to make it an opportunity for me to make some money? I was like, you know what? There are two options. Number one, through brand deals, and also that on content itself, I'll make it funny. And number two, stand-up comedy. I realized it was a niche, and there's no one who's young and good looking doing stand-up comedy Taken though. Yeah. in Colombo. Let me do it. I figured a way to make that strength an opportunity. Just like that, at another strength, I can shape saying, I started doing gigs here and there, and I don't have a band. So what I did was I do open you're a singer. Not that good shape again. Are you going to sing for us tonight? We may get you Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's an opportunity for you to market yourself. People are watching.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, hey, I've heard this guy talk. He's interesting.
I think
I want to hire him. You could use this as a marketing opportunity.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like when you draw a SWOT, there's so much you don't know about. Do a SWOT while having a little glass of gin also. Strengths you don't know about also come out from. I'm telling you. And like just if you're good in public speaking, be an MC. There's so much you can do.
It's very interesting and something for everybody to learn is to, whilst we talk about visualizing, putting things down on paper, how do we do it? Is to do a SWOT.
Yeah.
Like what Amantha did. Put down your strengths, put down your weaknesses, convert your strengths into an opportunity.
Yeah.
What did you do with your weaknesses? Worked on it?
Worked on it.
What were they, if you'd like to share?
My actual main weakness was I had one where a lot of people kind of took advantage of me. Number one, because I was kind of like gullible back in the day.
Gullible?
Yeah, sort of.
You?
No,
out of all the people,
once
I
wanted, trust me, once I'm under the influence, you can tell me to do anything and I'll do it.
Okay.
It's like that. So my discipline.
What are we doing with cup of tea and all this?
Now, like, but trust me, like there have been occasions where I spend way too much money on the wrong person, and like people take you
for granted. Take you for a ride.
Yeah. And also on top of that, discipline, you get into fights and all of that. It's not a good thing. Like, but
you had all that, but you worked on it.
Yes.
And you become better.
Trying.
Yeah, of course. It's a process. So you identified your weaknesses, which is also important, and you worked on being better. You converted your strengths into opportunities. Threats.
There were no threats for me, man. There were no threats. I actually didn't even take into consideration any threats. All I did was my strengths, turn them into opportunities, and I identified my weaknesses so that I could work on them. So.
Anything else you used to build up your life, to bring you to where you are?
See, I'm not gonna actually sit here and be like, oh, I read 1,000 books and I woke up at 4 a.m. and I ran the marathon and all.
You didn't do
that.
Very,
very simple guy, I know.
You believe in a casual, chilled life.
As long as you know what you do.
But you work hard.
I work very hard. That's something that people do not know.
I make sure speak a bit about that too.
I don't think I finish all my work, and then if you realize all my TikToks are just on bed, all of them, I finish all my work and I get on bed, and I need to make a video before I go to sleep. And there's one more thing, I never record a video and look at it afterwards, because then I turn into a perfectionist. I'm like, I don't like the way I said this, I don't like the way I said that. So I record the video and I post it and I do my own work and I go to sleep.
For the benefit of the audience, this has just been shot only once. We haven't taken any shots on it. That's what we believe into, the raw story. But
exactly.
But it's interesting that you say that. Why do you not want to be a perfectionist? There has to be a reason.
No, I want to be authentic. Because
that's why organic comes in.
That's what everyone else is doing, right? Trying to be perfect.
And there's no perfect world.
There's no. You have to stand out and be unique. Do your own thing.
And who you are is all about what matters. As long as you're not a weight to someone, as long as you're respectful to someone, and as long as you move forward, it's perfectly fine. Interesting. You've inspired me, like I said.
Thanks, man.
We spoke about three strengths, 2 weaknesses. Anything else to Amantha Perera the audience should know? Anything that comes to mind?
A lot of things come to mind. Can't say it out here, bro.
Why? You're gonna be you. People know you for who you are.
Thing,
if you change now, they're gonna wonder why did you change.
Maybe police saying the next thing,
But any advice that you can give, from a marketing sense, because you did mention something interesting where, look, I first need to build my brand to be able to build someone else. That's where you was like, hey, the importance of being successful should be a stepping stone for other people. Oh, this person is successful, this person has something going on, and you have to keep doing it. What was the thought process behind it?
As in
what made you think, look, I have to keep working on my brand? Because you didn't literally just work on TikTok. You said you worked on other places, but short gigs.
Yeah. No, that is exactly the reason I did it. Now, the thing I told you, I would not like to go to a gym and get a personal trainer who is much better than me. Because that's just in general. Who would like to go and, get advice from someone who's worse than them? So in a marketing point of view, I really wanted to be like this person who knows what he's doing, who can actually criticize certain marketing campaigns because he can do a superb one himself. That has always been my thing.
So we look forward to seeing you as one of the top marketers in the country.
Yeah, I mean that's the.
What's your end goal? I mean, where do you want to be?
I want to be like one of the best marketeers.
Who do you like follow? Who do you like keep as a role model? Do you have anyone?
There are the Neil Patels and all, but I don't look up to anyone. I want to be someone who's totally
authentic.
Yeah,
it's all about authenticity.
That's something I've never had, and I feel like that has benefited a lot as well. I've never had a celebrity crush. I've never had a celebrity I look up to. I want to be like him. I've always wanted to be Amantha Perera and just, I don't know, the best.
Tell us a bit about Amantha Perera outside the whole social media. What do you like? Sports? You're a musician?
Yeah.
Any band looking to hire? Imagining a stand-up comedian and a singer.
Yeah.
That's an interesting combination. Yeah. Okay, you're a musician.
I do sing a bit. And in terms of sports, I play cricket in school and I've boxed professionally as well.
Box professionally?
Yeah, not a very good boxer, but did it. Just did it for a bit. On top of that, I mean, I love music. I sing a lot. Yeah, and I have to say I love my alcohol.
As of now?
As of now.
And you want to know, you have to slow down and all that stuff.
I do.
Because there's an age for everything, and that's what you were telling me pre-podcast. Like, look, you got to enjoy life. You got to do, which I personally agree. Because there comes an age where you have to sort of slow down, but you have to experience it.
Exactly,
you have to know what it is like. It's interesting that you said that.
You need to find the right balance.
Balance.
You can't stop having fun. Otherwise, what's the point in life if you're just going to earn more money, but you don't get to have fun. But also at the same time, you can't like let these or whatever ruin you. But it's good that when you're young, you get to do certain things so that you know not to do it afterwards. It's just like back in the day when you mix a lot of alcohol and you drink vodka, gin, you have a bad hangover the next day. So the next time you don't mix. It's like that.
It's awareness. And marketing is also about awareness.
Yes.
Being aware of what works. But it's good. It's been great hearing your, road to success from where you were.
Thank
We
you.
got something a little bit more exciting coming up. So stay tuned.
Okay.
Coming back, we're going to take a short break. Maybe change his tease into something that gets us to talk and get you to say a bit of comedies and all that stuff. Cool, we'll be back.
I can be a hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will stand by you forever.
Thank you.
You can take my breath away. I can be your hero.
Wow.
Thank you.
Impressive. So, if you want Amantha Perera to be your hero, hero of your brand, stay tuned. Organic is launching.
Yeah, superb, man.
Subscribe, put in your name in the comment section, tag Amantha Perera and be like, hey, I want you to be my hero.
Super, sounds good. Love it.
So guys, how's it been so far listening to this story? I mean, did you know most of what he shared?
Some of it, because I follow him on TikTok and Instagram, but definitely I didn't know about how he was a straight A student and then, he sort of finished A-levels early. I've met him actually a few times before, but I didn't know this side and this part of the story, so it was nice to hear. Yeah.
Damn.
I think a lot of people didn't know that about you. Coming in for today's podcast, you wanted to sort of tell people, look, I am as normal as some of you guys are there.
Yeah, because a lot of people just think I'm like this bubbly character online. Yeah, I am. But then they also do not know like the struggles I've been gone.
And today was about putting it out.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure it took a lot.
Thank you for having me.
I'm confused. Do we have you for the next podcast, comedy show, or as a marketing consultant? Thank you. What do you think?
So most of the things that he has shared, some of the things relate to me as well.
Ah.
Some, I mean, I'm not an high IQ kid like Amantha, but
So they say not all IQ kids say I'm high IQ.
No,
Yeah.
actually, I'm not a high IQ kid, but I did maths, but with ICT, and now I'm working at GEPic as a marketing executive. So it's two different paths, even though I'm doing a computer science degree. So
3 different paths.
yeah, 3 different paths. So
But I mean, you heard Amantha speak.
yes,
He's like, look, you got to
yes,
get the experience across all fields, and that was his vision. At he's only 22, almost.
yes.
Same age.
Just 1 year elder than me, and he's like super place, and I feel like there's always a time for everything, and like he said, we need to like look for the things which is coming to us and just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have opportunities coming your way throughout that year that you sort of like, look, not now, or
Yeah, I had a lot of job opportunities, like to go back to 9 to 5. Had quite a few, but I had
pretty
like,
convincing stuff too?
and especially when you have like your parents and everyone
Yeah,
just saying,
pressure, yeah,
"You get it,
yeah.
yeah, interview hai."
Yeah.
You had that coming through. I think.
No, and that belief to have in
yes,
yourself,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. And you made it work in a way, and then like
Yep.
what she shared, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's people out there like confused, what am I doing? I think people at that age is like, look, I'm doing so many things, where am I heading? And you're like a classic example, hey, do everything, but obviously not everything, everything has to be aware of everything,
And
because
just figure out what best for you.
what works best for you. You figured it out early. Well,
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't understand, like, I think looking at Amantha, just by sort of being comfortable speaking on camera, you get a lot of opportunities, especially because the
Definitely.
market demands it.
Yeah.
that was one of his strengths.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
mentioned.
And he capitalized on it in his SWA and analysis, because there was no T.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah, that's
That's-
just what.
yeah.
I think listening to him, and when he said he doesn't have like a threat,
Yeah.
it's also how you perceive your threat.
Yeah, yeah.
And looking at what you shared right now, like you obviously there's threats for you.
Yeah,
you
there
just
is.
he just didn't like, I don't care about the threats.
Yeah.
That's not going to put me down, and that's very important in the current day and age, because some people tend to be pessimistic, be negative, and then when you want to build a brand, when you want to do something, you tend to be like, threats,
Yeah.
competition.
This won't
is this
go right.
possible?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he would have multiple times thought, look, there's so many TikTokers out there,
There's
they're able to do
always,
it.
like not like a reason for you not to do something.
Yes,
you know?
yes, and
I just
and,
don't
and,
know.
and his way of overcoming, like, screw it, I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
looking at threats because it doesn't matter to me. That, correct me if I'm wrong, that may have been the reason.
Maybe, yeah.
And the fact he hasn't changed his personality, even though he has.
I should actually thank, I wouldn't even say confidence, I would kind of say cockiness as well, because I went into this cocky and arrogant. I had already like kind of been successful. That's the mindset
That was the
I
mindset.
had.
And I mean, even though you were already successful, you still put in the work.
Oh,
You still learned it, and you said it, because I think people shouldn't be misguided to think he already had
Yeah.
that success. He already had it. You had to work towards it.
Definitely.
I mean, it's easy for us to be like, look at someone and be like, hey, you had it easy, or
Easy,
you
yeah.
had it for you, you got it for you, you had the looks, and you need to grow the beard.
Well, take notes.
Hey, he's a handsome fellow, my god.
But you said yourself that you're a good-looking guy.
Yeah, that is true. I am. But he's a handsome also.
Stands out in the crowd.
Yeah.
Which is why you were like, hey, I've seen you somewhere, because
Yeah.
he's always there where you are.
Oh, because he's an alcoholic. It's one of the.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah.
For sure.
But no, so I think that's an important take from this podcast is, sometimes people don't go achieve their goals or achieve their dreams because they focus too much on the pessimistic thing,
Yeah.
the threat, and then the concern. Whereas he, like, I'm gonna do on my own saw without a T.
Yeah.
We should name it the episode that had the saw without
Saw.
a T.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, that can be a good pitch to your.
No threats.
No threats.
But I'm sure you're aware of it. I'm sure something. TikTok will change tomorrow.
Definitely.
There'll be something else that's coming in.
Yeah.
And then you have to be in par with it. And social media is such. It's a very difficult industry to
Yeah,
be in.
very volatile.
It's very volatile, and you should like be in that position where, okay, if tomorrow TikTok, Instagram, Facebook go, you still have some income.
Yeah.
The main reason.
You still need to know what needs to be done.
Exactly.
So on that same thing, one thing that I had in mind was online marketing is huge.
Yeah.
You believe in offline marketing too?
No, that's online marketing is the only marketing right now.
Right now.
Right now, there's nothing else.
Why do you say that?
Back in the day, we used to also like consider TVCs, you know. But I can't remember the last time my usual TG for a brand. We don't watch TV.
Yeah.
When was the last time we watched a thing? It's
Except
everyone.
for
Everyone's
cricket match.
streams.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for a sport event.
Yeah.
And
it's
watch
just Netflix.
radio.
Yeah, no, but even matches now, you see Netflix is
Yeah.
into streaming now. Like if you look at sports like in the US, the NFL, then Netflix is working on streaming NFL games. So more or less, advertising is changing. You know, as you said, no one's really watching
Posters
TV.
also doesn't
Even
work as much.
newspapers, yeah.
Newspapers. What happened to newspapers? Perfect. Actually, best example. And we used to pay how much? Like 65,000, 70,000
For a newspaper.
for a newspaper.
Everything is online now.
Everything is.
And even in our childhood, we used to do that Chuti Baba newspaper, but now children are learning through YouTube and social media.
So everything is online, and it's important to adapt into it, and that's what you pitch. But tell us, guys, I'm a bit older in this group. I'm not shy to accept it.
Yeah.
There's no harm in it. Like Amantha said, it's sometimes good to spend time with the older crowd to gain and learn and all that stuff. As a younger generation, having someone like Amantha on our podcast, and if you are one of those people watching this, what do you want to sort of know about? Like, what do you want to ask? What do you think? Let's put him on the spot. We put him on the spot. Said, hey, sing hero.
I think you sort of covered everything in the previous segments, regardless of the generational gap, Denham. To be honest,
Generational gap. It's quite long. It's okay.
Undisclosed age, but to be honest, like I said, you covered everything, but just to understand, you said that before you create a video, you don't really, you said after you create a video, you don't need to watch it, but before you create it, obviously there's a bit of research that goes into
that's what's actually insane. Like when I even work with brands, I know the agencies are gonna back me up on this one, because when they ask for scripts and all that, I'm just like, I don't.
You just wing it.
I just wing it. I just ask them for basically the pointers, what I need to cover.
What you need to cover, okay.
And I just deliver the message, because there's only a 3-step thing, right? You hook to grab the audience's attention, you capture them, basically control them, and then you feed them all the information what you need to do.
Okay.
And then afterwards the CTA. Where to bloody go? That's
so it. The hook is the most important part.
The hook is the most important part. And then even the information, you need to give it in a way where you actually just put all that information into them, and then after you give them the information, they are going to be like, okay, now what do I do with this? Like, okay, you want to buy it? Go here. It's just 3 steps, man.
I'm sure though he's come to that place after a lot of preparation.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a script in mind,
No.
and I think we shouldn't be again misguided of the fact that
This is what works for me.
Yeah,
This is what works for me.
No, I mean, you have to be able to win it. You have to be able to, be out there. That's confidence, and that's been his personality. But he was telling pre-podcast, or 3 years ago, I'd be nervous. I would be struggling. It took effort. It took planning for him to come to a stage. His experience. But then, in terms of script structure, sometimes it's pointers. And I guess that's something you can get to, in my opinion. With experience, with a lot of...
That's a lot of trial and error as well.
Yeah.
You have to...
I'm sure when you did your first video, you prepped for it compared to your 100th video.
Yep. And
So
I think
it's a process.
that actually worked, and I became a bit more confident after doing stand-up comedy. Because in that you just have the material in your head, and these are some of the jokes. But how am I going to kind of improvise on the spot and come up with jokes, get the crowd engaged, and just do it. And after I got on stage a couple of times, now it's just okay.
I wanted to ask you one more thing about the negativity. There's so much of negativity, especially when you put yourself out there online, that you get, right? Definitely.
I mean, it's been bad 4 times.
Come on. Yeah. Okay, so someone has it out for you. So how do you, I'm sure our viewers would like to know how you sort of manage that?
What's funny is, right, no matter how much negativity I get, I really don't care.
Fools you.
Yeah, it also fools me because now let's say the best example, there was one woman who commented on one of my videos. It's like this is a misogynist, you know, he's ruining the country, all that stuff, right?
And on TikTok, huh?
Yeah.
She's on TikTok.
And what I did was I just responded to her, and then I was like, you're stressed out. Why don't you get a ticket to this thing? And I plugged in a brand. I made some money off of it. As long as these people don't come and like knock on me in public and say, and that is something they do not do.
Yeah.
But as long as that's
That has never happened? No public interactions?
one.
No one.
That is not, it's not that I'm like, but
Yeah, I
tyke
know.
my son here. But
it's all,
I just say tyke my son. It's not like I'm like all buff and all, but people just don't do that.
Yeah.
Behind the screen, they have all that confidence. They say whatever they need to say, but it's fine.
Hey, again, something interesting to learn because every time there's that negativity, it's about how you take it.
Yeah.
And he
the
took it like you took the, again, no
Opportunities.
threats.
And
No
negativity
opportunities.
is marketing also. The negativity gives marketing.
So sometimes whenever there's that negative comment comes, it's a bit of a cockiness that has to come out, but with a bit of confidence.
Yeah,
that
like
they-
you're doing nothing better just commenting on someone
Yeah.
else's content when they're trying to do something.
Yeah.
You know, all you're doing is you're just judging other people sitting on your couch, on your bed.
Yeah.
That's it.
But in this current day and age, there's a lot of people that are computer fighters. Like they
Yeah.
Keyboard warriors, yeah.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
just
they're
number.
called keyboard warriors for a reason. What else are they doing? You know, clearly they're not even confident enough to show their face.
Faces, it's
That's
probably a
That's
fake
probably
account.
like a fake account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an interesting thing to take from there. Whenever you feel beaten down, it's about how you look at it and get back at it.
Like I said, man, like whatever you do, in order to get to a position, you gotta be a little cocky about it as well. Like you have to have that. I don't want to swear, but that fuck you mentality when you go into when you go into things.
You have to be able to back it.
Yeah.
You got to be able to walk the
You can't
talk.
just have that attitude.
You can't just be a talker without walking the talk, and that's what you've done.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you had a lot to say to your company that brought you to the ground zero, where you like Amantha, you're a flop. Told you that and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna give this to you. Are they in touch with you by any chance? Like, hey, Amantha, can you come and market us?
No, I'm permanently banned. Let's just say the joke I made wasn't that good, bro. Not in touch, and it's a foreign organization.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why they're extremely strict about certain rules. So.
Interesting. Foreign organization. We living here in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
We have an international audience following us right now.
Oh, can't mention the organization. I'm not even
Yeah,
doing
no,
their
no.
job better.
Yeah,
Sue me
yeah,
next time. So, all good, man.
Tinky, anything you'd like to add from the perspective of a student, different paths, listening to this story? High IQ, we keep saying that because it's just a real.
I'm like some Albert Einstein and all that.
I mean, jumping to grades.
Yeah,
Own it,
jumping
not
to
like
grades.
own it. I mean, come on, you're a cocky
getting a
fellow. You gotta say,
scholarship.
yeah, I did it. You wanna question me? You wanna challenge me? You want me to give an answer?
Really smart.
That should probably be the the title of the video.
If you have any questions that you need help with, and you're a student, Amantha Perera.
If you want any study tips, so
No, my God. Can't remember anything now.
But
but
Tinky,
it's interesting. I mean, I have never met someone who has not skipped, like passed 2 grades and who has completed, local A levels.
No, Cambridge.
Cambridge. At 17 and started doing a job, and now 22, doing something that he really passionate about. You're
it took him
probably
effort, though. I think that's a key
Yeah.
to get there.
No, like I was telling her also, like off camera, it's like you can't just work hard as well. Nathang, base and bas, they work hard. There should be. There's a level of.
You have to be smart about it. One of the things we featured in our first episode is about using the organization as your vehicle that takes you towards your.
It's a stepping stone.
It's and when that vehicle has taken you to that certain place, and if you feel like, look, this vehicle has given me enough, you got
Then
to
you
change
move-
the
yeah,
vehicle. You got to move forward, or you got to have a conversation and be like, look, I'm not. And in a way, that's what he did. It's not like when he hit ground zero, he started his business.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I have a vision. I got to get more experience. I got to, you know, I know it's a simple thing, but it's also about appearance, and that's something he spoke about, like the fact that you have to be taken seriously. I'm going to grow my beard.
You have to.
I mean, those
I
are
had to make those
little
changes.
things, you know, that people don't
and
really
being
think of.
disciplined. And I asked him, hey, when do you start not feeling hungover and all this stuff? He's like, it's right now, because you know, you just launched. And you're being serious, and you know when to stop, and that's important.
And I feel like most of the people who are at around our age has that main issue to figure out what we are good at and what's the best thing that fits me and in which path should I go. I mean, how did you figure that out actually?
It was a SWAT. It was a SWAT.
Swa, no tea.
Yeah, that's actually
And that's important. I think across all our podcasts, guys, every speaker has spoken about the importance of visualizing,
Yeah.
putting things down. I mean, it's not like we told them to say this. It's just interesting that everybody who's gone towards that will be like, look, I've done it.
Yes.
And if there's something we have to take, it's the importance of SWOT. I mean, with Amantha, of course, minus the T, and I guess that's a learning for everybody.
Yeah.
Don't pay too much of attention to your threats. Be aware of it, but don't let that bother you. It's about looking at it.
Make it a motivational thing.
And then, I mean, if you want to talk to your friend, hey, you know, go do a SWOT. And that's what he did.
Yeah.
So you knew you were able to make people smile. So you became a stand-up comedian. You loved singing. You took up gigs.
Yeah.
You wanted to be connected with marketing. So it's all directed towards it. But yeah, so that's it. Help.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know. I mean,
I don't think
I'm sure.
no one actually knew.
Yeah, and that's a sad bit sometimes about people looking at someone who's performing on TikTok and doing something. They think they had it easy, or there was someone backing them.
Yeah.
If you ask a lot of currently famous TikTokers or YouTubers, they've all had that story of struggle.
Yeah.
They kept working hard. I'm sure it's not like you got your 100 views immediately. It took time. So it takes time. It's a process, and it's taken you about a year and a half consistently posting.
I started during COVID.
Okay.
And that was like the first account. And then it got banned and I took a break, and then I started again. And it's just been a cycle like that. But I started during COVID.
But when did you
4
when did you
years.
sort of hit that switch? Like you realize, okay, like people are noticing.
Noticing you.
There's sort of traffic coming my way now.
I don't know,
The
man.
second account got banned.
Most probably after the first account got banned, I realized.
No, was there like a video that was like, this, you like looking back, you're like, this is the one, like this was the one.
I remember it was one video that just went viral for no reason, and I was like, what
But
the hell?
like, yeah.
Like it has like so like 800,000 views. I was like, bro, I'm just cracking a joke.
See, didn't I told you?
It's interesting you say that. I've been trying to pick my brain with GEPic TikTok. There's just videos that randomly blows up. I'm like,
It
has to be
That's
a
just-
reason.
that's just how it is.
There's no like proper algorithm,
Yeah.
man. As long as
You heard it
you heard
from him,
it.
you know. We've been trying to convince him. And he's like, no, find the reason.
There's
I
no
even did a
algorithm.
research on it.
I mean, like, what do you do? Do you just keep posting till you get that?
it's like this, right? You just
Are you giving out insider details?
oh yeah, actually pay for it.
This video.
Oh my, how that made a poor, huh? So
That was the last segment. That's why we were brought in. You know?
No, don't tell us. Keep it yourself. If you want to know,
Off
if
camera,
he's
off camera.
interested to share that,
I'll be your brand's hero.
put it in comment section. We don't want you to just give out things for free.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Off camera, tell us.
Yeah,
For sure.
No, but then that's interesting. There's something to learn. Will you though, if they reach you, if they come to you, do you have like don't give us the answer, but do you have a way to sort of tell them that's part of your brand?
Oh yeah. I mean, there is a set method that works very well in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
There's a trend. In anything in life, there's always a trend if you follow it. There's a pattern. And in Sri Lanka, we've kind of identified that pattern when it comes to certain brands in different sectors.
Yeah.
There's a specific pattern for a specific sector.
Yeah.
So we have really identified that, and we've done a lot of trial and error on different brands. And this
You
is like
keep working on it too. I'm sure it keeps
Exactly.
changing.
exactly.
And
And
give it out for free.
Yeah.
even this the previous organization, why I said I need to work at one more place, do my own thing, is I had missed the the hotel industry, the hospitality sector.
How to sort of
Yes, I've never done that. So I had to manage a brand like that so that I can call myself a marketeer.
complete.
How do you keep track of things now? Now that you're full time, do you read? What do you do? Like, how,
You're just
like what's your
chronically
way of-
online?
I'm just a normal consumer. Be a normal consumer. You don't need to put in more effort. You just know what's popping up.
Yeah.
You know what's this. As long as you know the right format of posting your content,
Okay.
in terms of like what people are looking for, and you identify the certain
Don't give
trends.
it too much.
Yeah. No, you need to like identify trends, especially in Sri Lankan buying patterns.
Okay.
People's. Stuff like
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank God Denham got
it's been
his
an interesting
answer.
podcast.
Yeah,
It's
very
been a
interesting.
different sort of a podcast
Yeah.
compared to all our speakers. Thank you for bringing that difference. I mean, living true to himself. I want to be authentic, and he was authentic in himself, isn't it?
And he actually had discipline in continuously posting also. He said that he is making sure to
Yeah.
post a video before he sleep.
Yeah.
So he had discipline.
Consistency. Yeah.
That also, if you realize, it's always at like 9 p.m. I post a video because that's when I finish all my
Your
work.
work.
I have a shower after gym, whatever. Get on bed, then I make. That's why all my videos are on bed.
Yeah.
Or if I need to do something special, it's on the way to work in the car.
Is your car fixed by?
No, man, mom. Like, you know, you reminded me. Expensive. This is why it's another tip for y'all. Please get insurance. no, get.
You believe in insurance?
Yeah.
Ah.
You're supposed to believe.
Forced to be. All my Christmas money.
By, I mean, maybe 2 years from now, you could speak about that incident and be like, you know what, I still came out of it. Because you don't see, it doesn't seem to, you know, though you say, don't remind me, it doesn't seem to bother you.
Yeah, so now they.
I mean, it's a good attitude, and not a lot of people have it. That it itself is enough for them to bring them down. But it's been good having you on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all that insights with us. Anything you want to share before we let you go, and hopefully have you back sometime soon?
For sure. Not really. I would actually say that I had an amazing time, and this is the best platform I chose to actually show the other side of Amantha Perera or the Musala.
Yeah, actually, because people don't see this side of you on.
Yeah, so
On social media, it's not Amantha Perera. In GB, it's Amantha Perera.
and I'm just glad, I did it with you guys. And yeah, thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thanks.
We're privileged
Thanks for
to have you.
coming.
Thank you very much
Yeah.
for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.